Hello everyone, I am BowserJrXD. Welcome to the feature race for Formula 2 at Abu Dhabi, the absolute final race of the season for Formula 2. A 4.5 point gap between Gabriel Bortoleto, the points leader, and Isaac Hadjar, the challenger, heading into this final race of the season. Paul Aaron was eliminated yesterday just from where he finished, but then he was even more eliminated because he got a penalty, or actually a disqualification, for a DRS infringement. The actuator was I think a millimeter off where it was supposed to be. So not only did he get disqualified, I don't remember his original position. I think it might have been third in the race. But he also has to start the race from the pit lane. Other news that we heard, I just heard, is that Kimi Antonelli is still sick, and thus will not be racing today either. So the young Italian who's graduated in Mercedes will more than likely finish the season with 2 wins, 6th in points. Anyway, now to go over the final starting lineup for Formula 2 this year. Well, it's 4 o'clock is not necessarily kind to me, so I'll probably get a couple more Z's before the F1 race at 8 my time. Starting 21st, driving the number 17 for High Tech Pulse 8, starting from the pit lane. 20 years old from Tallinn, Estonia, Paul Aaron, 3rd in points. Starting 20th, driving the number 25 for AIX Racing. 19 years old from Glasgow, United Kingdom, Cian Shields, 30th in points. Starting 19th, driving the number 23 for now that we're in the last race, I'm going to start totaling, including their win totals. Aaron has 1 win back at the last feature race at Qatar. Starting 19th, driving the number 23 for Trident, 19 years old from Maitland, Australia, Christian Mansell, 25th in points. Starting 18th, driving the number 14 for Van Amersfoort Racing, 21 years old from Salisbury, United Kingdom, John Bennett, 28th in points. Starting 17th, driving the number 22 for Trident, 22 years old from New York City, United States, Max Esterson, 31st in points. Starting 16th, driving the number 15 for Van Amersfoort Racing, 23 years old from Leon, Mexico, Rafael Villagomez, 23rd in points. He was so far back that he was actually passed by a driver who's only run 2 race weekends. Kind of pathetic. Starting 15th, driving the number 2 for Art Grand Prix, 22 years old from Kingsley, United Kingdom, Luke Browning, the Williams development driver, 26th in points. Starting 14th, driving the number 7 for Dams Lucas Oil, 19 years old from Charlotte, United States, Jack Crawford, the Aston Martin Jr., 5th in points. He has a win and the feature race at Catalunya. Starting 13th, driving the number 3 for Prema Racing, 19 years old from Havering, United Kingdom, Oliver Behrman, the Ferrari Jr., 12th in points. He has 3 wins this year. The sprint race at Red Bull Ring, the sprint race at Monza, and the feature race at Baku. Wait, what? That's not right. Hold on a minute. The sprint race at Red Bull Ring, the sprint race at Monza, and the sprint race at Qatar. I mixed up 2 different charts. He also, of course, will be going to Formula 1 next year with Haas. Starting 12th, driving the number 11 for MP Motorsport, 23 years old from Benschop, Netherlands, Richard Verschoor, 9th in points. Verschoor has a win this year in the feature race at Baku. There, see, that's getting it right. Oh, God. All right, starting 11th, driving the number 5 for Rodan Motorsport, 20 years old from Piacenza, Italy, Formula 3 champion Leonardo Fornaroli, now 29th in points. Starting 10th, driving the number 12 for MP Motorsport, 20 years old from London, United Kingdom, but representing Germany, Oliver Goethe, the Red Bull Junior, 24th in points. Starting 9th, driving to number 16 for High Tech Pulsate, 22 years old from Tempsey, Belgium, Emery Cordial, 17th in points. Starting 8th, driving to number 24 for AIX Racing, 21 years old from Asuncion, Paraguay, Joshua Dirksen, 13th in points, and the winner of the sprint race at Baku. Starting 7th, driving to number 6 for Rodan Motorsport, 25 years old from Zushi, Japan, Ritomo Miyata, 19th, the Toyota Gazoo Racing Junior, 19th in points, and our oldest driver here. Starting 6th, driving to number 21 for Campos Racing, 19 years old from Barcelona, Spain, Pepe Marti, the Red Bull Junior, 16th in points, and the winner of yesterday's sprint race at Yas Marina. Also the youngest driver in the field, as Antonelli is out with his illness. Starting 5th, driving the number 9 for Invicta Racing, 24 years old from Bangalore, India, Alpine Junior Kushbaini, 11th in points. He has a win in the sprint race at Hungary. Starting 4th, driving the number 8 for Dams Lucas Oil, 20 years old from Linköping, Sweden, Dino Beganovic, the Ferrari Junior from Formula 3, 21st in points, having done so well in his 3 starts thus far that he already passed Rafael Villagomez, who's run the whole freaking season. Starting 3rd, driving the number 20 for Campos Racing, 20 years old from Paris, France, Isaac Hadjar, the Red Bull Junior, 2nd in points. Hadjar has 4 wins this year, most of any driver, with the feature race at Albert Park, the feature race at Imola, the feature race at Silverstone, and the feature race at Spa. Starting outside pole, driving the number 10 for Invicta Racing, 20 years old from Sao Paulo, Brazil, points leader Gabriel Bortoletto, the McLaren Junior. He has, I think, 2 wins this year. The feature race at Rebel Ring and the feature race at Monza. And on the pole, driving the number 1 for Art Grand Prix, with a pole time of 1 minute, 36.142 seconds, and an average speed of 122.8558 miles per hour. 23 years old from Quincy-sous-Tenard, France, Alpine Junior Victor Martins, 8th in points, whose sole win was at the sprint race at Catalunya. That is your starting lineup for today's feature race at Abu Dhabi.
To second place for Gabriel Bortoletto. Very nearly contact there.
This is also the last Formula 2 race for commentator Alex Jacques. Until I don't know where he's going. He's also done the, if you use F1 TV or watch the highlights, Alex Jacques' broadcasting is the broadcasting that's used for the highlights and the standard version of F1 TV. So as I live in the U.S., and I tend to watch the races on TV, I get David Croft and Martin Brundle.
Hopeful and talented. Some begin in car parks with cones. The lucky are identified by the big beasts of our sport early on. Others equipped with a mission to keep the family name at the front. All are unified under the goal of reaching the pinnacle of our sport, a quest that leads here to Decider Day in Formula 2. Good afternoon. Gabriel Bortoletto versus Isaac Hadjar for the championship is next. It all comes down to this. Round 14 of the 2024 FIA Formula 2 Championship. And we take you to live pictures. Yas Marina is a town without clouds on a great day for racing. In the commentary box for one last time, I'm Alex Jakes. And joining us for the finale is a 2-time Le Mans podium finisher. finisher, European sports car champion, a man who won't miss these long daft intros. It's Mr. Alex Brundle.
We couldn't write it, and that's lucky because we don't have to. It is an unbelievable finale to the 2024 Formula 2 Championship. The championship rivals parked up next to each other on the grid in a winner-takes-all scenario. Bortoleto, the Brazilian, Hadjar, the Frenchman, Campos versus Invicta at the front of the team's championship as well. Only Victor Martins
so not
ahead
only
of the pair
are
of them.
Gabriel Bortoleto and Isaac Hadjar duking it out, it's also to settle the team's championship. Currently, Invicta Racing leads by over 30 points.
Start having been disqualified from yesterday's race and also from the qualifying results. We'll get into why in a few moments. Ken Shields is in 20th, Christian Mansell in 19th. The next row is John Bennett in 18th. Max Esterton is in 17th position for the Trident team. Next up is Rafael Villagomez. He's in 16th. Luke Browning. He has been in F1, FP1 this weekend. He goes from 15th. Jack Crawford, 13th. And F1 bound Oliver Behrman is the only Prema on the grid.
I said Behrman was going to F1, but so is Gabriel Bortoleto. He's going to Sauber. And it seems to be more and more likely that Isaac Hadjar will also go to F1 to replace Liam Lawson at Racing Bulls, as Liam Lawson might replace Sergio Perez at Red Bull. Who's doing one? Who's the other? Okay. Yeah, those are the... And besides Antonelli, who's also going to Mercedes. Yeah.
Of him in the title battle by 4.5 points.
Also, I got to revise.
And the only man ahead of him on the grid is Victor Martins. But Alex, the championship battle for teams, for drivers.
I had the wrong
after we finished the broadcast
poll
yesterday.
time. The actual poll time was, I said it was 136.142. It's actually
the sprint race. It was determined that the DRS actuator of that high tech had been modified to extend the length by
1 minute 35.745 for an average speed of 123.3652 miles per hour.
Into the pit lane for the start of this one, and as such, the grid has changed, and so have the points.
Isaac Hadjar is the man.
This race will be 32 laps
points back in this crucial race, and it's worth saying that if
compared to the 23 from last week. So actually, the exact same length
no matter
as
what the other one does. It is quite
33 laps.
A winner-take-all
So,
scenario. Let's hear then with our main contender.
So that's 108 miles, or 174 kilometers.
There's been a lot of really highs and lows, you know, making your way, trying to make it to the top, the pinnacle of the sport. So no, I really enjoyed those 3 years, learned a lot. And I would say my highlight would be my really difficult season with high tech last year. I've never learned as much. Definitely helped me massively for this season to maximize everything all the time.
It's a dream because no one thinks that you can come to a rookie season and fight for a title twice in a row, in F3 and in F2. But as I said, it's a dream, and I'm super grateful for everything, for the teams I've been part in Trident.
So Bortoleto
for God,
won Formula 3 as a rookie
so for me, makes a big
with
difference,
Trident.
To believe that this has been a gift in my life, for my family, for everyone that has been
This is
supporting
after
me
a
so
season
far.
in Formula Regional European where he finished
Our
6th in
championship
points.
contenders
So,
ready
wins
around
F3 as a rookie,
that loves a
could win
dramatic
F2 as a
last
rookie.
race decider. You're looking at turn
So,
number 9 at Yas Marina.
I don't know who's the last driver to
circuit
do
that
that.
runs to 5.2 kilometers. It has 16 turns, and you've got to get to the inside of turn 9 if you want to make a move. You are risking your race, potentially your championship, Alex, if you're on the
Oscar
outside
Piastri
of
was
turn
the last
number
driver
9.
to do
Yeah,
it.
it is.
Also a McLaren
very long
driver.
left-hander. We've got,
Or at least in the
different
McLaren
rest
family,
strategically.
but
33 laps to be
clearly
done, 2
Bortoleto will
compounds
not
to
be racing
used.
F1
Esterton, Browning,
for,
Crawford, Vachon, Correa, and Pepe
for
Marti
McLaren.
have gone for the harder medium compound tyre first. Rest of the field going to get rid of that very soft, super soft compounder tyre. We'll be looking for them to do that extremely early on. They'll be
The
wanting
gap
the race to
in the
start
Team
before they
Championship is
melt,
not over
such as
30.
the track
It's
temperature,
24.5 points.
43.6 degrees at the moment. The hottest track temperature they've seen throughout the weekend. weekend so far, so expect struggles in the early stages of this one for those on the super soft. Going to be interesting to see how it plays out between those two strategies.
Tense moments, stirring moments on the pit wall. We have 4.5 points between our two rivals.
They're
who
starting
are
next to
separated
each
by
other,
8
second and third.
meters on the grid. Yep, it really is that tense. It really is that exciting. This is Formula 2 with Alex Jakes and Alex Brundle. We wait for the green flag at the back. We have time to crown a champion. That time is now. The final fight is 5 lights away.
And we're green at Yas Marina. Here we go.
For the championship.
Bad start for Victor Martins. And Bortoletto takes the lead. Here comes Kush Lighter on the outside, fronting up by Isaac Adjar. Goes a little wide. Oh, almost contact there. But Bortoletto is gone.
Massive moment in the championship because Bortoletto's gone.
Miney trying to get around, almost getting around Martins. Hadjar.
Martin's got a terrible start off the line. To tag 5 we go.
Miney takes second place.
Deep on the brakes.
But he goes wide again, but he's clear.
To respond. Bortoletto is sprinting clear. He's trying to build a gap.
Invicta Racing 1-2.
Isaac Hadjar, the 20-year-old Frenchman, knows he needs to get.
Man, I can't even see where Martins ended up. Hadjar trying to go to the outside of Miney.
Brave is he feeling on the brakes? Miney's going to hang on to second place. And Bortoletto, Alex, is building an advantage out front.
Hadjar on the medium compound tyre simply cannot afford
Wow.
this. You've got Invicta 1-2, Miney rear gunning for Bortoletto, and Hadjar
Who's that
needs
in
to make
fourth?
this move,
Began-
he
I
needs
think
to
that's
make it
Began at
now
its
if he's
fourth
gonna
and
be able
Dirksen
to
fifth.
continue fighting for this championship battle.
We still the yellow flag in sectors 1 and 3. Not sure why sector 3. The yellow flag might suggest that Martins did get going. So I don't know why we still have 2 yellow flags out in 2 sectors.
Up against Behrman, who is getting to the inside of turn 12. Will there be a gap for him? Not at this stage. And he manages to make it through. Is the opening lap going to be the defining lap on lap 1 of 33? Hadjar will have to cool. He will have to calm down.
Pepe Marti didn't get going, which means that Invicta has locked up the champ.
And Hadjar has stalled. Extraordinary.
Wait, Hadjar?
Extraordinary. Hadjar didn't get off the line, and the title battle
Wait.
as we know it.
Oh,
has
come
come
on.
to an end.
That's it. It's Hadjar that stalled. I thought it was Pepe Marti that stalled. The championship's over. Bortoletto has won the championship.
Trying to be restarted in the pit lane. We'll have to look at that start again, but it's Marty out front in a very similar liveried car, and Hadjar, an absolute disaster for him. It's
Wow,
over.
well that
The
was
championship
anticlimactic.
Hadjar over with Bortoletto streaking into the lead.
So, Pepe Marti's in third. Well, that's awkward. Bortoletto has won the championship, and Invicta Racing has won the team championship. Oh, man. Well, that kind of sucks. We have no championship battle anymore. Oh, my God. Bogdanovich goes to third.
To try and win another race and celebrate with the title, but Hadjar is listed as out. Can they fire him up? He's outside.
Dirksen up to
outside
fourth.
the commentary box
Oh,
window.
man.
Again, apologies.
So now
didn't get off the line.
that's depressing.
His teammate and winner from yesterday did. Pepe Marti is in third position. We're on lap 2 of 33.
I don't know how
This is the moment that looks to have decided the title, Alex.
Yeah, so we lost him early on. We
Oh,
were so
God.
prepared to see that battle, and this is it. The championship
That sucks.
stalls out at the very starting line for Hadjar. Car in neutral, no engine power, and he traipses down to the end of the pit lane to continue, but more than a lap down now, Isaac Hadjar, to all intents and purposes. The series over on the line.
That sucks. Like, Hadjar can't make up the difference now, unless there's a miracle.
Just not the way that we thought we would.
Bortoletto sets the fastest lap.
For Isaac
Oh,
Hadjar
God.
and his Campos team.
And
Pepe Marti and Kush
and
Miney
Sol,
putting on a
Browning,
brilliant
Atchison,
battle
Crawford, Bennett,
at
Shields,
the
Aaron.
start of the race. But it was irrelevant in the end. Invicta in a great position to win the team's championship. It's lap 3.
No, it's
of
impossible
33,
for anyone else, I think, to win the
regrouping
team's
now and trying to
championship.
come back. We're seeing
I'm pretty sure that only Campos was within reach, but they needed it. But 24.5 points behind.
Move for Dirksen to try and get by. Third position.
It's nearly impossible. Okay, Invicta Racing is not locked up yet, but it's almost certainly a done deal.
Effectively over.
Martin
Dirksen
down
to the
outside
inside of
then
Pepe Marti
of,
takes
Dirksen
third.
having a little bit of a look down towards turn 9. He'll have to try and get the grip underneath and pick up the inside line if he can possibly get it. It's a triple right-hander then down towards turn 12, fighting then over that third position. Dirksen sitting in position for another podium in what's been a strong year for him. Let's have a look at it then. Hadjar is the driver in third place on the right-hand side, just doesn't move. Miney charges past. And then it's Marty who jumps down the inside with a monumental start, and for all the world looks to be the Red Bull liveried driver of Hadjar as they make their way around the outside of turn 1, and the battle then between the two of them fierce as well as they head down towards turn 5. The rest of the field streaking through, but Bortoletto ends up with a monumental gap at the front with Miney rear gunning for him and controlling the rest of the pack.
This is the launch off the line, and
Man, that sucks. I would have preferred the championship had been decided naturally, but oh, we had one of the Van Amersfoorts spin into turn 1.
This is on board with Victor Martins.
Yeah, not a great start from Martins either. Drops the clutch, almost stalls it, and then has to boot it.
I guess the car who spun was Visa Gomez.
That Alpine livery machine shoveled off the road as well as he tries to continue making his way through. Look at it from the camera, which moves over the pit lane.
Yeah, I told. I need an explanation, and I can't believe all this hard work for that. The worst moment of my life, like right now.
Yeah.
Same for me.
His engineer Pepe, heartbroken.
Wait, his engineer is named Pepe, like his teammate?
And then this symbolic moment, that is Isaac Hadjar. And this was just him unlapping himself. Getting by Bortoletto, knowing Bortoletto would have been expecting that into the first turn. And you now have the eerie sight. If you're just switching on, it is a lap down Isaac Hadjar who leads Gabriel Bortoletto.
Christian Mansell up to 11th.
Bortoletto with the lead overall, Hadjar has the fastest lap. He needs something miraculous to happen. He is a lap down.
Yeah, but
and he has managed to go by.
Just to have enough points to catch up, he has to finish. He would have to finish at least 7th.
Finding himself with 26 points and the 8th modern.
What happened to Crawford?
FIA Formula 2.
Yeah, it's all but done now, isn't it? Even if there was a safety car now, Hadjar finds himself over a lap back. Bortoletto now needs to focus on
Crawford is over a lap behind.
He's got Miney behind him.
21st.
Lead,
oh,
and,
they're pitting. Visa Gomez and Crawford are
an
pitting.
insurmountable points lead against Isaac Hadjar. He's going to try to make this race work out for him. It could still go wrong here for Bortoletto. We've got some early drivers in the pit lane as well. That looks that's
probably for damage, not for tires.
Very, very early for those two pit callers, Villa Gomez and Crawford.
Yeah, I know Visa Gomez
was round at
fun.
the first lap, didn't we? So I wonder if he can't go any further. As you say, Alex, it's before the mandatory stop. It's before the rule book allows. You have to go to the
Hadjar has the fastest lap, a lot of good that'll do now.
To come in and make your mandatory stop. It's Bortoletto ahead of Miney, Dirksen, and then Pepe Marti in 4th. Vaganovic is in 5th.
It looks like Visa Gomez is out.
Who would have thought that he had a poor getaway, but nothing compared to the impact of Isaac Hadjar, who couldn't get off the line. And,
that's one way to end your rookie season in Formula 2. And looks like Crawford's out.
And Crawford there with the
so Hadjar will pass both of them eventually.
Martins dropping back then from the lead of the field down to 4th. In what the difficult start that we saw in replay. They're already starting to struggle, aren't they, with the rear of the machines, with that softer compounder tyre. And it's actually Marty who looks to be in a strong position here. We'll assume the lead of the race as he's on the reverse strategy. And he looks will start to look increasingly stronger than the cars ahead of him. Medium compound far better suited to the longer runs in the hotter temperatures than that super soft compound is, and expect them to dive for the pits really early. As you can see, Marty now starting to put the pressure on Dirksen as they head down to 6.
Well, we're heading down to turn 6, and an astonishing opening lap, Alex, really, because it feels like all of the air has gone out of this race, because we were looking forward to our tightest ever title battle, and we'll talk you through all the moments.
Why did it have to end like that? In the goofiest way possible.
Dirksen trying to go all the way around the outside, and you can only do that if you've got superior grip and a bit of confidence as well.
Can't defend from Marty. Marty takes third.
Marty moves up to third position. Miney hangs on to second. Once again, it looks like Miney's tyres fading away, but a genuine stunned moment down there in the F2 pit lane, because this title battle that we thought would go all the way to the last lap has seen Hajar stall.
Formula 3's championship battle went down to the last lap. It went back to the last turn when Fornaroli had to repass on the Gabriele Mini. And we got cars making their pit stops, it looks like. We got Kush Miney, we got Joshua Dirksen, we got Victor Martin. All on pit road.
You saw Marty,
they got the tires, the hards.
Drive directly up the inside of Miney there, and that's with the superior grip that he has. He will eventually assume the lead of the race when Bortoleto follows suit.
Goethe, Behrman, Mansell, Fornaroli also on pit road.
Surely he will see him bring those in relatively short order. It's a busy pit lane down there.
It is indeed. So Pepe Marti continues on. Beganovic in
long
third
stop
position.
for Miney.
Deal finds himself in fourth, and it's Miata, Vachor,
very long pit stop for Miney.
Browning, Bennett and Aaron at 9th and 10th. This is Kush Miney being told from the gallery it was not a quick stop there, and you can see that he has tumbled behind plenty who are leaving the
Bortoleto now going to pit road. Victor Martins passes Joshua Dirksen, so great stop for Victor Martin after his terrible start.
A couple of days ago, Alex, trying to fight his way back through.
Yeah, it was a brilliant in terms of pace and performance from Martins. He's now under pressure though, down the outside.
Here comes Dirksen trying to get back around Victor Martins.
Remember, Dirksen getting his tyres into that temperature window, and Martins hanging on nicely. These are drivers furthest forward who have made their mandatory stops, but you've got to bring in the tyres the right way.
44-0 for Bortoleto, 44-0. He's gonna bust this up. I want to race him.
Dirksen gets back around.
Dirksen gets by as Hajar is screaming into the wind right now. The frustration of a driver who isn't even able to have a shadow fight for the title. As Bortoleto comes in to make his stop.
Bortoleto and Beganovic to pit road, so is Ricardo Miata.
For the Brazilian driver.
Really has. He and Beganovic, who has had a brilliant early foray into Formula 2 racing. Miata in as well, as is Bennett. They'll take their time over this medium compound tyre. In essence, Bortoleto needs to close out the championship. He'd love to do so if he possibly can with a win, and he's got all the position to be able to do that. The virtual race lead, as it were, the two drivers who've made that mandatory stop, and we'll be looking to see where Bortoleto feeds back in, and he will feed back
also
in
John Bennett on pit road.
And regain that virtual lead of the race.
Bortoleto cycles out in 8th.
Well. He's got an opportunity to bring those tyres in. Doesn't have to go racing immediately. Will try and generate the tyre temperature himself as he goes through the order. And you can see him just generating the temperature in those Pirelli tyres. Dirksen gaining all the time because his Pirelli rubber is up to temperature. It's not on the tail in the same way that Martins was, but Dirksen will still want this race lead. And he's looking to win his second race of the year.
Dirksen cycle is right behind Bortoleto. Oh, Bortoleto goes off!
About that corner, he goes deep, and that is just tyre temperature, Alex.
Yeah, Bortoleto under a lot of
He has to give up the position now.
Now Dirksen is going to have
Here comes Dirksen, going to have a big head of steam. To the outside goes the Paraguayan. Oh, a lockup from Bortoleto into the next turn, and Dirksen takes the provisional lead. Well, actually, that's not true. Pepe Marty's on a different strategy. Goes to Hajar, takes his pit stop. He'll still be in last place on the field, on the grid, but out of those who are still in the race.
driver who...
Martins has also gotten around Bortoleto.
At the moment. Bortoleto falls down to net third in the race. So a change of net race lead. I thought Bortoleto had enough of an advantage there, Alex, but the others had fired their tyres up. They had them in the temperature window, and Bortoleto with the lockup that lets not just one car by, but a second as well. And on lap 9 of 33, we're going to see the moment that changed the net race lead. This is Victor Martins, Joshua Dirksen.
Oh, Dirksen went off
out of the pit lane.
in his outlap from the pits.
Exit as well, crossing the white line on the outside of the pit lane. Sometimes race direction take a
Oh man, that thing was airborne. Damn. The 24, I mean.
Dirksen firing the car into the air, and that the pressure of trying to catch up with Bortoleto, but he still managed to do so. Bortoleto taking a long time to get those tyres up to temperature, perhaps pressured for the longer run in terms of the air in the tyre, and should come back to him later in the stint.
And Victor Martins laid on the brakes into turn 12
there.
and firing his way
At least it
through
looked like it.
as he gets by and takes the next second, but currently listed as 9th on your screen as we see Pepe Marti out front continuing to run that medium tyre. And
So top 7 have not made their pit stop.
Champion-elect.
My brakes are not working.
Well, he's not got a lot of
We got
temperature in the
24 to
tyre,
go,
often
so
a problem with
hold
the tyre
on and you
feels like
just
a problem
finish
with the
it out and
brake
you're
lever. If
champion.
The front axle is not gripping for you, then miraculously as you build it, it comes back. But they will have opened up the brake ducts to try to give them the best possible performance in the high air and track temperature. If Bortoleto's struggling, he could be under pressure from behind from Beganovic, who's looked really strong all weekend.
Lap 10 of 33, Victor Martins and Gabriel Bortoleto separated by 1.2 seconds. Bortoleto on his way to the title, unless we get a safety car and the field resets. And this is Kushmaini. Now, we heard from the gallery it was a slow stop. Let's have a look at that in greater detail.
Slightly slow off with the left rear, and slightly slow on as well. They've dropped the car, and has he lost the engine? Yes, he has. Terribly slow stop, unfortunately.
So slow getting tires on and off, and a stall
tumbling
engine.
out of contention, and that's 2 races in a row, Alex, for the Indian driver, where he's managed to get himself into a great position at the start, and then found himself with an awful moment, dropping down through the field. Yesterday it was just tyres.
Looking at second place, the battle for second, Emery Cordial and Richard Vachor.
And no further part in the points at this stage. Emery Cordial up against Richard Vachor. Emery Cordial, the Belgian driver who is plying his trade for the silver livery high-tech team, and Richard Vachor, who has moved back in the last week to the orange MP Motorsport team, who have found they're reunited with their Dutch driver, who has had great success for them in the past in other championships. And we're on board with him right now, currently running 3rd of those, yet to stop.
Will be continuing into next year. Richard Vachor, tremendously experienced driver at this level.
Hajar.
Tell me the gap with Bortoleto every lap.
What? I kind of,
And it's just
line
line management now. They've got to get him through it. A painful experience. It's kind of painful to watch, isn't it? For Hajar. He wants to know in his mind that he could have held pace, doesn't he? With Bortoleto.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to know. That if that hadn't happened for him at the beginning of this.
I think that'll make him feel worse.
And he just wants to take that into what's going to be a long off-season. Isaac Hajar has an extremely bright future ahead of him, and potential options in the future at the top tier.
Just to give you some info, the prime starters are dropping the pace a lot. Okay, they're at 42s. So keep that in mind, okay? It's going to be the pace at the end.
Around the outside to take the place.
Vachor passes Cordial for second.
For Richard Vachor, who powers by, and he's up to P2 still to make his mandatory stop.
Yeah, really good performance from Vachor. But Bortoleto being told that, so he knows to manage this medium compound tyre, and perhaps trying to reassure the driver as well that the early stages of the stint are not what's going to be important. He's dropped a couple of positions away from the virtual race lead, Bortoleto, and they're trying to reassure him that actually the pace at the end of the stint with the tyre dropping away is going to be more important than how quickly the tyre fires up.
And it is Victor Martins that we're on board with. One of our 18 different winners so far this year in this incredibly competitive championship. It's a black and white flag for Browning, for track limits. Got one in FP1 when he was competing on Friday in Formula 1 for Williams, and he's gone beyond the white line on 3 occasions now. If he does so again, will be a 5-second penalty, and it's a long way still to go in this. If you're just pressing play, if you're just switching on, great to have your company for the final F2 race of the year. Isaac Hadjar stalling at the start means that Gabriel Bortoleto, who already had a 4.5-point lead at the start of this one, finds his way to the title in a few laps' time.
Dirkson's made up 4 seconds on King and Shields in the span of
finish. The
2
rule book
laps.
does allow cars that are a lap down to take their position at the rear of the field.
Yeah, it will do, and that really
if
is.
that happened, it's a possible scenario. It's not obviously a very likely.
Well, that's what they're hoping
And you still
for.
have to
That's why
pass
they're keeping the
everyone
car
to
in
get
the
up
race
to
at the moment. Fastest
necessary
lap at this point,
positions.
Hadjar, who's made his way back out onto the racetrack, and it's just asking for the lap times and giving the best performance that he possibly can at this stage. Bortoleto still in the battle for the race win. And that'll be secondary, I think, to making sure they get this car to the end of the race. In any case, without scores from Hadjar, Bortoleto makes his way to the championship victory. And but he'll want to do so in the best possible style. Coming up now, behind Victor Martins once more, Bortoleto has slightly better pace, and we did predict that when he came out of the pits and struggled a little bit with the tyre, perhaps the tyre pressured for the longer run. Victor Martins now trying to pursue Dirksen, the pace very much stabilising between these three, with Beganovic holding court as well, just in the back of shot, clinging on to this top 3 in terms of that strategy on the road.
And we're on board with Gabriel Bortoleto. Must be a strange feeling knowing, but he is competing in Formula 2, so it isn't over until it's over. But he must know that he's just got to go through the procedures now and hope he's got a chance to reel in Martin.
That's the battle
Dirksen,
for 4th. Luke Browning trying to pass Max Esterson.
Pepe Marti continues to lead, our winner of the sprint race yesterday. For sure is 2.3 seconds away from him. We still wait to see the top 7, as you can see from the graphic on the left-hand side, come in and make their stops. The championship battle looks to be resolved for Gabriel Bortoleto, currently in 10th place, but what would be a net 3rd position if they were to make their stops. It is worth saying that there's a long way to go, and an intervention one way or the other could swing the pendulum towards the alternative strategy. And we've seen that so many times through the season, Alex.
We have the alternative strategy relatively slow, as they said over the radio to Hadjar at the moment. But those who've already pitted onto the medium compound tyre have all of that pain to come at the end of the race, when those who pit onto the super soft are going to be ballistic in the last 6 laps. So let's see what they've got in terms of pace. It's a 41.6 last time around for Marty, a decent lap for him in comparison to a 40.9 for Martin. So he leads the pack of
6
those
seconds
who have
behind
pitted. So at the moment,
his teammate.
the gap back is effectively Martins and Dirksen will make their way through to the lead of the race.
15, so Joshua Dirksen is 15 seconds behind Pepe Marti, the leader.
Runners will have monumental pace at the end.
Yeah, that's the strategies meeting in the middle. Here is Oliver Behrman, who I bet he just cannot wait to get to Formula 1, and the Haas team that have updated their car so well in recent times and capable of really punching it.
Yeah, the battle for second in F1 is probably over. Leclerc had a penalty, which make him start 19th, which that starting that far back basically ensures that not only will he not get 8 points on Norris, Ferrari will not get the 21 points they need on McLaren. The only battle left is for 6th in the championship.
So far in a Formula 2 car, Oliver Goethe joined the series back in Monza and has been doing a very good job indeed.
For 11, or 12, yeah, Behrman trying to close in on Goethe.
In the shape of Oliver Behrman, who's had his ups and downs throughout this season so far, seems to have been very much in the action this weekend. Oliver Behrman, he's going to have a look then as they head down towards turn 9. DRS open. Behrman looking to have a bit more front end. You see the effect there of the aero wash through the middle of turn 9, directly behind the car in front, takes the air off that front wing. These two drivers have pitted. This is over 13th and 12th and 13th on the road, and we'll see where they shake out when we finish the long wait for those who are on the medium compound tyre to start with to jump across to the soft.
Yeah, this is the point where those out front are just managing the rubber, and those in a great position once the mandatory stops have happened for the top 7 are just waiting. We do get the moment where the leader on the road meets those who have yet to stop, and that is happening between AIX cars in the next few laps. 4 seconds between Shields and Dirksen in 7th and 8th positions, and then Martins in 9th. Oliver Behrman finds himself still chasing down Goethe and looking to try and make that move. He did have good tyre wear all the way through yesterday's race, so he'll be expecting to make his way on. The race is flying by, lap 15 of 33.
Darkson's now 4 seconds behind
lasted all of a metre, unfortunately, and we see.
And now the gap's about
down
19
to
seconds.
Turn 6.
Looks like.
Vibration as the Pirelli tyres wearing, and we will see, I reckon around this time, marbles on the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the straight down to turn number 6. Past the support race pit lane we go on the right-hand side. Oliver Behrman checking the mirror to see where Mayata is. The answer is 3.2 seconds away. The Japanese driver who has struggled to adapt how he would have wanted to, given his stellar CV from Japanese motor racing with the Roden team. They're currently running in 14th position, and Hajar just out there fighting against the dying of the light, really, because he's not got the option to contend for this title. He's just running on to see, and that is one of the more brutal graphics you will ever see in a motorsport broadcast. Look at the gap in time.
Yeah, personally I prefer the version we called at the beginning, but it wasn't to be for Hajar.
Great. Bortoletto 3 minutes ahead of Hajar. That's depressing.
Sorry about that. I would rather have not dropped a clanger at the very end. That's the sort of thing I feared doing back in 2015. But there you go. We chose our own adventure. Poor old Isaac Hajar. His heart sinking with that moment. It is worth saying they have introduced a new light system. It's a 2-stage process to engage the launch procedure off the line, but they installed a light so the team can see whether that start procedure has been implemented, and so they'll be able to study the footage and see whether that LED was illuminated. That was put in place for the teams. Here's a look to the inside, and Oliver Behrman on the brakes and getting by, and that was a very assured move there, as Goethe will try and fight back in this second DRS zone. And was that tactical from Goethe to just give the place, not fight it too hard, and use the speed in that DRS zone to roar back? I think it might have been, because he's got the place and he regains 12th position.
Well, both of them will be used to the DRS games, both graduates of the Formula 3 Championship, most recently Goethe, who finished 6th in that series this year.
Oh, wait, Mark. Oh, no, nothing.
Yeah, now I'm in traffic paradise.
Playing Yuki Tsunoda's greatest hits. Isaac Hajar.
Well, from one Red Bull Junior driver to another.
You, Alex, to an entire season's campaign.
We're halfway through the race.
Titles. Just the idea that you would go into that moment, everyone excited for this one, everyone excited for the title battle, a season of ups and downs and 18 different winners, every team on the grid has won, and then suddenly it's not gone your way and it's over before it even began.
That won't have sunk in yet for Hajar. He'll recognise that it wasn't a great moment, but equally he's still got a race car to drive. He'll be out there. It'll be tomorrow when he'll realise that it all.
Joshua Dirksen has passed Key and Shields.
They'll look into it in detail. They'll look into it with depth. But the reality is, as much as a driver, you'd love
Gap to the leader is
reach
about
back
26
into that moment.
seconds.
And I think everyone who's been behind the wheel
22
of
seconds.
these racing machines knows. And
Pepe
has the
Marti
moments
looking
they'd love
to
to
sweep.
reach back into and change. You can't change it. The reality is, no matter how much you analyse it, it will always be the same. But those painful moments, those losses, really inform you moving forward, and sometimes you just become a better sports person as a result. And trying to better himself, Victor Martins then on Shield making the move, still with Dirksen up the road.
So we talked about this phenomenon of Dirksen on for his first feature race win as it stands for AIX, who have won with 2 cars this year. Once at Monaco and once in Baku, and we can see Martins has managed to get by as well. And Bortoleto is going to be celebrating his title on the podium as it stands. The gap between Marty, our winner yesterday, and Dirksen last time across the line was 22 seconds. It's now 21 seconds. Marty will get an incredibly sticky, grippy tyre for the final stint. And unlike those who started on it at the start, Alex, we're going to see lower fuel for those who have gone a lot further, so they won't do as much damage with a heavy car. Another move, this time Richard Verschoor to the inside, and the Dutch driver manages to get by, and that is easily done. Another position gained, and that is for the lead on track. Pepe Marti out of the way, and for those who haven't stopped, now the race lead for Richard Verschoor. Pepe Marti in second place, Cordelis third.
Wait, Verschoor passed Marty? Wow.
As Gabriel
Or only briefly.
Through, and he does fire through. That's past the
now Verschoor takes back the lead.
Verschoor and Marty continue to scrap out front, and it must have been tight to turn 9, but Richard Verschoor has maintained the lead out front, and on lap 18 of 33, we have a
leader
change
on the track, and
for the lead.
So this is the leader of the alternate strategy.
He's just been demoted to second place, Alex.
Yeah, pit stops considered, this battle for the lead on the road is well behind Dirksen. So they're 21 seconds to the good over Dirksen, but obviously owing him a pit stop. It's quite a long pit lane here, so that's 30 seconds
15
plus,
laps to go in the Formula 2 season.
The tyre up to temperature. So unfortunately, those on the alternative strategy here are being driven out of contention, even considering the potential pace of that super soft tyre through to the end of the race. What will change the game as ever is a safety car before the end of the race, especially a safety car which offers those
wow, Verschoor
is
driven away from Marty, almost a second.
That's the gold
ahead.
standard of strategic benefit, if you like, to make it through to the end of the race, and that's what they'll be hoping for.
Follow your plan. We are fighting for a podium. Follow your plan.
Fighting for a podium and not a win. That's kind of sad.
Call to Pepe Marti there.
Let's see, Dirksen's gap 7.2 is now 20.7 seconds.
Being told that he's still fighting for a podium. What do we reckon, Alex? Do we reckon it's motivation for him, or do we reckon it's possible on the super soft tyres towards the end?
Well, they're expecting clearly him to be monumentally quick there.
No, that's not for sure. Esterson, Browning, and Aaron are all running one or a fourth, fifth, sixth as Luke Browning passes Max Esterson for fourth.
And that is nicely done by Luke Browning. Manages to clear the Trident, and he moves up to fourth place. Esterson down to fifth, and Aaron, who had to start from the pit lane after High-Tech were found to have modified the DRS, and another position gain for the driver, who will finish.
Bogdanovic passes Shields, so Bogdanovic falls out of the point. Shields falls out of the points.
Just one victory, but plenty of podiums. He lost yesterday's, but he's been consistent all the way through, and he will link up with the Alpine Formula One team.
Paul Aaron's last race as a non-academy driver, as was announced last race weekend. Paul Aaron will be the Alpine reserve driver for 2025.
Gabriel Bortoleto for the
that's the one who'll join the Alpine Academy.
And 9th in the box seats here, but they will face fast chargers coming through, and on lap 20 of 33. Isaac Hadjar
now the gap's about 20 seconds from Dirksen to Verschoor.
Disappointment for him, and he finds himself not a contender anymore. Bortoleto on his way to become the 8th modern champion of Formula 2, and it's some club to join. Alex, we'll talk about it in the final stages, but back-to-back Formula 3 and Formula 2 champion
versus Piastri.
Incredible CV.
It really is, and that's what they look for at the top level of Formula One racing. When drivers come through, win at each level on the way through, latest to do it, Oscar Piastri, but he joins an incredibly illustrious group of names there. And very few of those names have not gone on to. In fact, none of those names have not haven't
You
gone
only
on
named
to
Piastri.
deliver brilliant things in the world of Formula One. He'll have the opportunity to do that through next year, and it's been such an impressive pair of campaigns for Gabriel.
George
Bortoletto.
Russell, Nico Hülkenberg, and Charles Leclerc also won
in Formula 2. Talk about experience, the tyre
similar
management
levels
required at this
as
level,
the series
immense
back to
increase
back.
in power, downforce, grip, the aggression of the racing at Formula 2 level being a huge step from Formula 3 to turn up, overcome that, deliver, and
Russell won
towards
GP3 in
Formula
2017
1.
and
Just a feat
and,
beyond measure in its impressiveness for a young
F2
driver.
was like Art Grand Prix in Art Grand Prix 2018. That was the Art Grand Prix. Nico Hülkenberg. So that would have been GP3 and GP2.
The prescribed time given by the team. He's been given that reassurance. Cordial can't make an impression on him. Browning had
not
a
the
nice
same
move
way.
to
If we
get
won the
past
Formula
Esterson,
3 Euro
and then
Series
Aaron followed Esterson
with
by
Art Grand
as
Prix in
well,
08
as
and
we see,
GP2 with Art Grand Prix in
further
09.
on, and there is Victor Martins. There you have
Charles Leclerc.
Dirksen out front, 7th, still with the net race lead. Can Martins reclaim all those places, Alex? Having had that horrible
Won
start
GP3 in 2016 with Art Grand Prix, and then F2 with Prema in 2017.
And claim a feature race win in the final race of the year.
He's got immense pace at this stage. Dirksen driving away slightly from Victor Martins. The pace, though, between as Aaron looks down the inside.
Aaron trying to get by
Time for
Browning
Aaron,
for
who's got
fourth.
the attack today, and that is a bold move for 4th position. He's past Browning, and he's trying to catch up those who are leading on track at the moment. These cars battling out front, yet
Gap
to make their stops.
is now about 19 and a half seconds.
On the what appears to be the incorrect
Dirksen.
strategy at the moment, although Campos appear pretty confident that they can pick up a podium with Marty still. And the pace between those who've stayed out on the medium compound tyre and those who pitted is starting to equalise as we have a look for the move for Oliver Behrman.
Oliver Behrman, again, this is exactly what we saw yesterday. Good tyre performance all the way through, and Behrman able to pick his way by.
I took it by guess.
Going through the
Also
order.
probably
Victor
by
Martins
Shields.
pushing
He and
on
Shields
for
at
all
this
he's
point.
worth right now. He wants another trip to the top step of the podium.
He needs to be careful, though.
Where's
Hammering
Shields
through the
at?
outside of turn 14, sliding the right rear tyre. Lap 22 of 33, still another 10 to do, and he's got to take this tyre all the way to the end of the race, Victor Martins. He's obviously been told that Dirksen's pace is there, and he needs to get on with it. 41.1 last time around for Dirksen, 41.5 for Martin, so that's the difference. He's falling away from the AIX car, and he's falling a long way from the potential DRS as well. Bortoletto slightly homing in on Martins. It was a brilliant lap last time around, the fastest of that group for Bortoletto, 40.9 for him. So Martins, the driver under pressure, and we did see him under a little bit of pressure at times yesterday. Let's see what they can do. Bortoletto looking like he's going to be able to put the pressure on at the moment.
So for sure, ahead of Marty, and then Amaury Cordial ahead of his teammate Paul
Dirksen's
Aaron,
caught up to Esterson.
Separated by a big margin. Aaron having to start this race.
get DRS.
Pit lane. Crawford and Villa Gomez out on the opening few laps. Hajar continuing to circulate. John Bennett still getting used to life in FIA Formula 2. Dirksen still chasing Esterson. This is for 6th. Dirksen is our net race leader. Had great straight line speed all of yesterday. Oliver Behrman was remarking about that on the radio. How you make your way through these battles, though, really important, Alex, because it's not like a blue flag situation. Esterson still hasn't stopped. He's in contention here, and this could bring Victor Martins back into play.
Yeah, we have seen these back markers choose to battle extremely hard, and it is bringing Martins back into play. Look, Dirksen forced to follow Esterson all the way
Martins
through.
posted within a second,
there,
almost half a second now of Martins.
That'll be frustrating Dirksen immensely.
And Martins will be delighted after a slow getaway. He must have thought his chances of victory were gone.
DRS helps Dirksen get by Esterson.
To the drivers on the racetrack, a fine move for Dirksen.
Now he can try to drive up to Browning.
Eventually, a fine move in terms of what he needed, because he needed to get it done by 6. The timing is crucial there, because Martins has caught right up. And remember, when the 5 ahead stop, this will be the battle for the lead. Esterson still has to stop. Dirksen and Martins duking it out for the final feature race win of the year. Borgletto on the way to the title.
Dirksen then dishing out the DRS to Esterson, the back marker. Martins is going to find the grip, though, underneath, and he needs to try and snatch this position if he wants to stay in position to win this race, and indeed he does so. Up the inside of turn 9, and then rounding down towards turn 12.
10 laps to go in the Formula 2 season.
Using the superior grip of the tyre, Borgletto. I don't think Borgletto is going to be capable of just allowing this championship to finish with a podium and drink in whatever's replacing the champagne up there. He is going to
Bortoletto's not old enough, I think. Yeah, Bortoletto's 20. I mean, I don't know the drinking age in Brazil. Esterson to the pits.
The last race of the year.
Yeah, that would be massively to the benefit of Bortoletto, not then needing to make that move. 1.4 seconds, the gap back to Martins. If he can get within the DRS, he looks to have the pace to pass
Baron's
at
best
this
again of
stage.
it,
Martins,
too.
in turn, through that little foray into passing Esterson, has put himself right on the edge of DRS to Dirksen, which I think he'll mostly want to use to keep himself out of trouble from Bortoletto behind. Of these three, it looks like Bortoletto subtly the quickest, then it's Dirksen, then it's Martins in terms of their pace, and that's not the way they are on the road.
No, not at this stage. So, an intriguing battle. We have
Esterson
two
will come out in
coming
18th.
your way at the end. A 3-car battle for those who have the net race lead at the moment, but are in the middle of the pack, and we'll have those at the front currently on sticky, super soft rubber, which is very quick, but expires very quickly. So, that is for sure who's trying to play himself into contention. He is currently 20.7 seconds away from the battle, being led by Dirksen, and MP playing the tunes down there, getting in the mood, ready for a pit stop, which will define whether for sure can battle for a podium.
Campos, though, looking dejected, aren't they? They've got a pit stop to do, but the reality dawns so much faster on the mechanics who sit there on the pit wall. They've got to deliver nicely for Marty, an opportunity they feel for a podium for him, or did feel a few laps ago. Richard for sure has found a
Gap's
lot
about
of
21
pace
seconds
at the
from
front
Versor
of
to
this
Dirksen.
one. 40.9 last time around. That's quicker than Dirksen, the driver who took the medium tyre much later in the race and has stopped. So they're building up towards the pit stop phase, using the very last of the medium compound tyres they started on. For sure, let's see if he can draw the gap out as much as possible and give him a chance through to the end of the race. The question they've got here is, do they wait for a safety car and potentially lose time to move through the field on that soft compound tyre, or do they pull the trigger and just try to lean on the pace of the softer compound to give them track position?
That's the conundrum for them. As we make our way into the final stages, the championship decider that never was. And the stall off the line, meaning that Hadjar was pushed to the pit lane. He's 1 lap down on the field. He's 2 laps down on the leader. He's 1 lap down on Esterson in second place. That's the information you're getting on the left-hand side. And just continuing to run out there. It's a tough day
closing in on Browning.
Don't bright future.
Don't DRS
it's going to be a good future for Isaac
got
Hadjar.
some, but not enough to make it pass.
Red Bull talking up, looking inside their program in recent times. It will be a day of dejection. It will be a day that hurts so much, but there are better days ahead for Isaac Hadjar, and he will hope to be fighting in the future, completing his second year in the category. He said he learned so much last year when he wasn't a contender at all. Against all expectations, Alex, because he came from Formula 3. We thought he was going to be fighting week in, week out for victories. This year, it's the Isaac Hadjar that we expected to see.
Peaky performer, Hadjar, can be peerless on his day in terms of his pace, in terms of his speed, and then sometimes it just doesn't go right for him. He's had his fair share of misfortune, not least today, but he'll look back through the whole season. And as we often say, when these finales shake out, it's not just the final race which changes the championship. It's all of the races which make their way through. Every moment they've had on track, every front wing lost down towards the inside then. The move, Dirksen on Browning.
Gotta be careful there, Alex, because
Dirksen passes Browning.
Browning, who's yet to make his stop. And he's trying to break the toe. Again, got to be careful with that. Race control can take a dim view if you weave too much, but a decisive move, and every single time he can do that, oh, that was tight under braking. Every single time Dirksen can do that and put a car between him and Martins, he is edging closer to a victory that would mean so much for him and all of his supporters in Paraguay. He's won a sprint before, but never a feature, as Martins makes light work of his teammate Browning on different strategies at this stage of the race, and Bortoleto will be by as well
Shields
in
makes
the
his
next
pit
couple of
stop.
months.
Yeah, and that first feature race win for Dirksen's important. It's all very well winning a sprint, pop towards the front of the field and delivering in the reverse grid.
Bortoleto by
it up the inside of turn 12 on Browning. But Dirksen will be so keen to take home the Grand Prix of the weekend for the second tier and underline what's been an incredibly strong year and a resurgent year for AIX, rebranded throughout this year. Here comes Marti into the pit lane.
Here comes Pepe Marti, and one person to a wheel in Formula 2. Gets himself back into the fast lane. Just about ahead of Emery Cordial.
All right, Pepe Marti, Emery Cordial, Luke Browning make their pit stops.
Fade down the order, and Vachon and Aaron were and are the top two. Dirksen climbing up, and Martins will just be desperately trying to get within DRS because Bortoleto is in his DRS.
Richard, what do you think to box now? What do you think to box now? Because they are undercutting us. Yeah, come on.
And the undercut seldom valid in Formula 2 because of the cold tyre. But one of the times it is when they throw on the super soft, because it comes to the car so quickly that Marti then is able to fire it up and get off down the road. And he's popped out into the middle of the pack there.
Yeah, you can see warming the tyres like it's a formation lap, but this is the real thing. This is the race that's decided the title in Formula 2. And how much can they extract on the super soft tyres?
Seeing a replay of.
This is going to be Pepe Marti coming in.
Did he get in the wrong stall?
He's thinking about coming in. He picked out the wrong pit box there, Alex.
That's embarrassing.
Into the wrong box. There won't be any kind of penalty for that, I don't think. But it was almost a moment where Marti lost a little bit of time, and then monumentally close on the exit between he and Cordial. Vachon has jumped to try to cover off Marti, and they've gone to that super soft tyre.
Okay, Vachon was the leader. It's now Paul Aaron who's run from the pit lane to the lead of the race out there. Still, he's just gambling on a safety car and an intervention and a free pit stop. He's got a 5.9 second advantage over Joshua Dirksen, who has really gone to work in recent times. Look at how he's ahead now of Martins, who is having to deal with Gabriel Bortoleto, who wants another position on this podium. That is going to be Oliver Behrman.
Restore
and
pits.
is going to be the hard-charging Richard Vachon, the most experienced driver in the field. He's going to be flying at the end here.
Yeah, let's see what kind of speed they've got.
Restore comes out in 6.
4.8 seconds behind Miata. So he's going to have to have some kind of impressive pace.
6 laps to go. This is when they said that they would be making the run. Bortoleto closing in on Martins.
Of Victor Martins then over a very strong second place.
And the boy from Brazil, Gabriel Bortoleto, who will know that it's all about the race now. He knows that his title rival would have been given that information earlier on. It's all about the race result now. This is effectively a race-long victory lap for Gabriel Bortoleto, and he is going to be celebrating in a few laps' time. But will it be third, Alex?
Wait, Cordial got...
Podium yesterday, had the opportunity to win today. Dirksen looking very strong. Let's see what kind of pace they've got. The win's not still out of the question for Gabriel Bortoleto. You can see Dirksen in the AIX up the road. But first he needs to negotiate with the extremely fast Victor Martins, a driver who came in to this season as the championship contender, versus a driver who will end shortly.
Black and white flag for Behrman for track limits. 5 laps to go. Paul Aaron makes his pit stop.
In Formula 2, Alex, but I think we can say the largest trophy of the year is heading to Gabriel Bortoleto. Joshua Dirksen takes the race lead.
And my
the lead for all of a lap. And Now, Dirksen, who fought Victor Martins, and then both of them fought by Gabriel Bortoleto, are our contenders for victory. Can Bortoleto start a run to the top step by getting past Victor Martins? If he's going to do that, Alex, he's got to get by sooner rather than later.
DRS will be open down towards the biggest braking zone of the lap in turn 6. We've seen it monumentally strong throughout the weekend so far.
And is there another opportunity
Here.
for the
Well,
Invicta
trying to find
fight
somewhere,
its way by?
trying to make a
Not
run on the
this
outside,
time.
a little bit
He's
of lockup.
locking up, nearly nudging Victor Martins through the corners, desperate to get on the power. Can he find his way by when he gets to turn number 9? The position that you want here is the inside. The position being defended.
Another pat. Here comes Bortoleto around the outside and takes second for Victor Martins. Now let's see if he can chase down Dirksen for the win.
Up to second position. Has he got enough time to close down Dirksen and celebrate?
He's got 5 laps to do it.
Top step.
Had grip, had traction, then had the position. So much overspeed.
2.2 seconds is the gap.
Now he's going to send it up the road after Dirksen. Try to deny him his first feature race win and end the year on the top step of the podium. That's what he wants to do. The stoppers have stopped, and now we've shaked out to the real battle over the lead of this race. Marty is already made his way through into 9th position. It was 4 seconds. It's now 1.8 seconds. He's the leading runner on the super soft tyre. It's going to be interesting to see how fast he goes and how he's able to hone
Sure,
in
that's
on
the fastest lap. 1:38.923.
Richard Shaw is miles faster than Oliver Bearman in front of him as well.
That gap there
Richard Shaw
is
last time around
about
at 1:38.9.
9
Oliver
seconds.
Bearman at 1:41.1. Victor Martins at 1:42.5. For sure, oh, how he would love these tyres to stay with him and try and come through the field. He's surely going to get past Bearman. Can he sneak onto the podium? Orange car that you can see lining up the Prema in the background has an opportunity, and we're waiting.
4 to go.
We thank the gallery for all of their work this year, because they've waited to show us this battle with the DRS wide open. And here we go with Richard Verschoor with those super soft tyres. That means that he'll be in another league to anything that Ollie Bearman can do when he stands on the power. And it's up to 4th position.
That's about 8
for Richard
seconds
Verschoor.
now.
A nice move made, especially if you consider, Alex, he started 12th on the grid.
So much more grip, so much more confidence on the brake pedal for the incredibly experienced Verschoor. Finds his way down the inside. And what will be his pace now in comparison to Victor Martins, who looks to be struggling a little more on the tyre? He's got a lot of real estate to cover. 4.7 becomes 4.5 immediately as the interval clicks down. And you can see how quickly he's catching as he streaks away from Bearman and towards the rear of that ART.
Massive lap coming the way of Joshua Dirksen. Can he find a lap to arrest the momentum of Gabriel Bortoleto? Last
Marty
time
up
around,
to
he
8.
was 3/10 of a second
3 to go.
faster. 3 laps to go.
The gap
and Dirksen
is
goes over the
7
line
seconds.
Exactly the same time
No,
as
it's 8.
Bortoleto.
It's still 8
And
seconds.
AIX will be bouncing
Now
to
7.5.
see that, because he's stopped the momentum with 3 laps of the championship to go.
Last lap around 41.7 for Victor Martins, 39.6 for Richard Verschoor. That's the rate at which the Dutchman is catching, and it's going to be a battle for the final podium spot.
Well, that was the prediction earlier on for Pepe Marti. Pepe Marti's trying to get past fellow Red Bull Junior Oliver Goethe late on. Lap 31 and 33. Bortoleto will be regrouping. This is on board with Pepe Marti. I promise, it's Pepe Marti as he tries to get by, as he tries to find his way past.
Right, because we mixed up the Campos at the start. Part of why I thought Hadjar fighting at the front was at the start.
In the category today, up in 4th, trying to turn it into 3rd. As Marty manages to get by, and he's not the only one. Cordial climbs to 9th, Marty climbs to 7th, 2 moves in 1 corner there.
Yeah, that's what a bit of traction and the DRS will do for you, and that's the difference between that softer compound tyre. It is a huge difference at this circuit, the slow corners requiring the mechanical grip and all of those traction moments required through the lap, and that's why the pace difference is so huge. But it'll fall away quickly. Couple more laps to run after this. They should have the benefit of it through those laps with the lighter fuel load as well. Going to be interesting to see how far they can go.
Dirksen goes off.
Wide.
Oh, he went straight in the chicane. He will report.
Yeah, no.
They usually let you get away with 1. Dirksen did a 1:40.8.
2 to go.
Bortoleto a 1:41.0. And we're on the penultimate lap of the championship. Dirksen desperate to stay ahead. Bortoletto on his way to the title. And can, for sure, keep those tyres in. They're losing their grip, but he's still massively faster than Victor Martins. Not yet within DRS range for him, though.
No, it's not going to take long, though, is it? Could easily be by the second zone this time around. 0.7 of a second would seem a lot if they were on equivalent tyres, but as the MP takes off down the first of 2 straight line sections, he could easily
Bortoletto coming up to Hadjar.
Victor Martins.
Great sight of Dirksen, then Bortoletto, then Martins, then Verschoor. Oliver Behrman, who's been warned with the black and white flag, and he can't go beyond track limits anymore without getting a penalty. As we see, there's a late braking move for Cordeal. At least he was hoping there was one. Car number 16 there, the Silver High-Tech, trying to force its way by Oliver Goethe. And still, these super soft tyres are staying in. So if you try the alternative strategy, you're on the front foot and you're attacking all the way to the last lap of the season.
The track rubbering in as well throughout the race, which gives them more longevity, and it gives them the opportunity to attack and look at the grip and purchase that they have around the outside.
Cordeal around Goethe. Oh, he went wide.
For Amory Cordeal, not on the evidence there. And Goethe didn't fancy leaving a car's width as we continue to battle.
Pepe Marty trying to hold on, trying to pass Beganovic for 6th. White flag is out. Final lap of the Formula 2 season.
Martins hanging on to a podium, but he's only a 10th ahead, and you don't see many moves into turn.
So we're trying to find some birdies on Martins, and here he comes to 3rd place. Richard Verschoor enters the podium position.
Uses all that grip, gets his crowbar out and makes a gap on the inside, uses the traction through the exit and snatches a podium away from the Alpine liveried Martins.
Well, this is the final lap of the Formula 2 season in 2024, and it's an alternative strategy run for Richard Verschoor. That means he'll be celebrating with Bortoletto and Dirksen, and Dirksen's out front. Those key laps to keep Bortoletto behind have been so important. For the other battles, Pepe Marti is surely going to get past Dino Beganovic and move up. And talking of moving up, that's what Amory Cordeal has just done. He's gone past Goethe on the way into turn 5. We're on board with Marti, who's getting past Beganovic into turn number 6.
Passes Beganovic.
Again, when you use the grip, it's not going to be a contest at all. And through goes Marti up to 6th position.
Even off the race line, he scoops it round. That first apex, plants it through the exit and makes easy work of Beganovic. Moving up into the top 6. It's not the podium that they wanted, but it's a decent effort from Marti on that reverse strategy.
This is going to be a very, very happy podium. Verschoor has managed to climb up there on the alternative strategy. Dirksen is on his way to win the race, and Bortoletto's on his way to win the title.
Off the final turn, Joshua Dirksen wins at Abu Dhabi. Gabriel Bortoletto is the 2024 Formula 2 champion.
For the Brazilian driver, Gabriel Bortoletto is the Formula 2 champion of 2024. Back-to-back titles in F3 and F2 for the boy from Brazil. He's heading to Formula 1 as the champion.
Twice a winner this year. Invicta team jubilant on the pit wall. The driver who will go to Formula 1 next year has taken 3. He's taken 2, and he salutes the crowd in pure joy at becoming the drivers' champion of 2024.
Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Nick de Vries, Mick Schumacher, Oscar Piastri, Felipe Drugovich, Teo Pourchaire, and now Gabriel Bortoletto of Brazil, the champion of Formula 2
Bortoletto,
in 2024.
so Dirksen wins, Bortoletto 2nd, Verschoor 3rd is your podium. Martins 4th, Behrman 5th, Marty 6th, Beganovic 7th, Cordeal 8th, Goethe 9th, Miata 10th.
Thanks for the season, man. That was amazing.
It certainly was, Gabriel. Drinking every single moment. A winner for McLaren's Junior
Adjustments,
Academy.
and there we go as our final order.
A winner
on the
for
track.
Invicta. who take the team's title as well.
The third win
And
for
there will be
AX Racing,
jubilation
second
the
for
team
Dirksen,
from Norfolk.
and the
But
Brazilians in the
Brazilian fans are
stands
dancing.
having a
They
good
have one of
time.
their own back on the
And there's
Formula
Isaac
grid,
Hadjar,
but you can only have
crosses
great
the
sport
line.
with two great competitors. Isaac Hadjar led this
Fastest
championship
lap
by a
goes to
huge margin
Bortoleto.
at one point. Today, his chances expired in the first meters of the race when he was able to launch from the line. But Hadjar has more to come in motorsport. He has chapters still to be written. This day belongs to Gabriel.
So, anyway, that's Formula 2 done. Couple hours, it'll be time for Formula 1. So, time to get some extra sleep. Thanks to those who showed up. Hope you enjoyed. BowserJrXD signing off. Have a good one.